Actually, when I started here in 2010, we had 108 authorized police officers. Today, we're authorized 106, so we've actually decreased by 2 authorized police officers. At the same time, the population's increased about 6,000 people as the city has annexed more and more stuff and taken in more retail and more development, which is good for the city to do that. But at the same time, we would expect that the staffing level for the police department also increase. So over time, what has happened, we've tried to become more efficient in the way that we do business. So for example, we've had to eliminate some services already throughout the last several years. For example, we no longer take crash reports on private property. We no longer handle civil standby calls. We implemented an false alarm ordinance to try to reduce the false alarms, which has worked. We've reduced false alarms by over 1,000 a year. And so we've become a lot more efficient. We've had our patrol officers move from a 4 10-hour shift, and we have several squads now on 5 8-hour shifts, so we can put more officers on when we're at busy times of the day. And so we've done all that to be more efficient, but now we're at that point where we can't be any more efficient. I think we've reached our peak in performance, and we're seeing now increases in crime. We're seeing increases in calls for service that has caused a decrease in our response times. For example, any call that is not in progress, okay, our average response time is 40 minutes, and that's because the calls go on hold in dispatch, and because there's no officers available to respond to them. And when an officer becomes available, then it will get dispatched. Now, the good thing is high priority calls, those that are in progress, those crimes of violence, we have a very quick response time. So what's happening is officers are breaking calls that might be a lower priority, and they're saying, I'll be back, I got to handle this other call first. And so our employees are doing that. So they're doing a real good job. Another thing we've seen over the years, last several years, our available time, our proactive time, has decreased over the years. So when I first started here in 2010, it averaged right around 35–40%, meaning that our police officers, when they're not on calls, they have proactive time to go out and look for traffic violations, traffic safety, community policing. They're stopping and contacting people for community policing to have a good positive reaction with the community. Today, last year in 2015, that has decreased to 10%. So only 10% of the police officers' time they're free to do proactive policing. So best practices, national best practices say an officer should have about 40% proactive time. So as you can see, that shows that our officers are just going from call to call to call, and really they don't have time that I would like to see them spending with the community to be proactive and trying to prevent crime. Over the last year too, we've seen an increase in violence against officers. We've had more officers assaulted last year. Our officers are having to use force to control people who are combative more frequently, and it's becoming concerned. We're going to have to address the issue here pretty soon.